What's going on, guys? Apathetic here, and today I'm here to share some tips on how to play aggressive in the Crucible and do it in a way where you aren't a detriment to your team. And a little disclaimer, I was testing new keybinds in this video, so if you see me randomly melee or drop my rift, that's why. Alright, let's get into it. Tip number one for playing aggressive is having the right weapons. It's important that when we talk about playing aggressive, we are using the right weapons to support that style of gameplay. We don't want to be running headfirst in the enemy with our pulse rifles out, okay guys? So the recommendation I have if you're looking to play as aggressive as possible is the last word and the recluse. I know you're expecting me to say a shotgun, and that still wouldn't be a bad option, but I found using the last word and their recluse was a whole new level of aggro. You're able to be so aggressive using the last word and at the same time have a weapon that can also melt shotgun rushers, and of course after you melt people with your last word, you can just go to town with your recluse. The great thing about this combo is they both have similar effective ranges, with the last word being a little bit farther, and this forces you to only engage at close to medium range and forces you to play in that effective range, which will ultimately make you be more aggressive. But I had a blast using this loadout, and that's coming from someone who isn't the world's #1 last word user. So for you guys out there that main the last word, you really mastered that weapon, you're gonna love this loadout. One thing you do want to be aware of though is you're using double primary when using both of these weapons, so you want to keep a close eye on your ammo reserves because you can burn through it quite quickly. But other than that, this loadout is golden, and let me know in the comments below what your favorite weapons are to use when you're trying to play more aggressive. Having a plan of attack is tip number 2, and it's very easy when we are trying to play more aggressive to simply just keep holding W or forward for my console players out there, and we just hold forward, die, hold forward, 1 or 2 kills, die. And sometimes that strategy can yield results depending on the skill of your opponent, but it's important that we are going into a game with the mindset of being aggressive, that we have a plan of attack. You need to have a predetermined idea of how you're going to pressure your opponent and exactly how hard. I often find that more aggressive play styles, they end up pushing so hard, they end up in their enemy spawn, and then the enemy just ends up respawning and team shotting them. Keeping this in mind, it's important that we only push up to a certain point and give the enemy just enough room to get out of their spawn so we can feast off of them. The one exception to this is when you have your super. If you're near an enemy spawn and you can see from your radar they're clearly still spawning there, that's the time to pop that super, go in and hunt for that Slayer or 7th column medal. Other than that, we need to be tactful with how we push, and that can also include pushing a different way each time. So if I'm playing convergence, I push through B and have some success. With that, maybe I'll do it 2 more times, but then the next time I'll push through waterfall, and that's a good way to always keep your enemy guessing on where you might be pushing from. Tip 3 is playing off your team. What I mean by this is assessing where your enemy is on the map and using that to inform when and from where you should push from. If I see 3/4 of my team pushing from one angle of the map, that's my cue to push from the opposite way. Why? Because I know that a majority of my team currently have the other team's attention, and this opens a whole side of the map for me to be aggressive and push from and hopefully string some kills together. This method also helps ensure great teamwork because it's very easy to get tunnel vision when playing an aggressive playstyle and find yourself pushing on an island all by yourself. This leads to unnecessary deaths and makes you a detriment to your team, and on top of that, poor performance individually. By playing off your team, you're going to find yourself in a better position to clean up kills or help set up your team for some nice assists. Tip 4 is being aggressive doesn't mean you can't run away. Now tell me if you ever met this player. You're in a gunfight and this player is super weak, basically about to lose the fight. They duck behind cover and they have an option to disengage and essentially run or continue to fight and most likely lose. And what do you know? They try to get fancy and peek shot and boom, easy kill. The point I'm trying to make is that having an aggressive playstyle doesn't mean fighting no matter what. The ultimate goal is always survival, because when you're always dead, you're going to find it pretty hard to be aggressive. So we don't want to play for KDE out here, but we don't want to be a detriment to our team. When being aggressive, if you start seeing all these people pop up on your radar, it's okay to dip out and come back just as hard from a different angle, and hopefully now when you're in a position of strength. Tip 5 and our final tip is staying mobile. When playing aggressive, it's key to keep moving. It's hard to have an aggressive playstyle when you're just sitting in one spot the whole game. We need to be all over the map and just keep moving forward within reason, and still keeping in mind the tips we've already mentioned. I found when using the last word with the recluse, it really caters to that run and gun aggressive playstyle we're really going for here. You're able to run up, melt someone with your last word, switch your recluse with that pinnacle perk procced, take out 2 more enemies, dip out, and keep going. You'll find playing this way with this loadout, you're putting so much pressure on your opponents with your style of play, and this weapon loadout will significantly benefit your teammates because the enemy team is always having to account for the pressure you're applying from being so aggressive, and using a loadout that allows you to just melt multiple enemies back to back. That's going to do it for this video, guys. And remember, if you're trying to play a more aggressive playstyle, have the right loadout to support that playstyle, have a plan of attack, play off your team, run when necessary, and stay mobile, and really lean into that run and gun playstyle. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe, as it's a free way to support me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Zone B captured. Zone advantage is yours. Two for one. As one. I love it. Zone A captured. Sound tactics bring victory. Enemy claims Zone C. Two for one. What can stop you if you fight together? Nothing. You're in the lead. Zone B captured. Zone A captured. You have zone advantage. Ikora would be proud of you, Warlock. Zone C captured. Power play. Keep the pressure on. Zone A lost. Getting stronger as you fight. I love it! Zone A captured. Power play. Keep the pressure on. Zone C lost. You're dominating the field. Don't let up. Fight back. Zone B lost. Your enemy has a power play. Double down. That shut them down. This is amazing. Zone A captured. capture. Zone advantage is yours.
Perfect. 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 Perfect.